Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship from Virginia International Raceway, round 3 of 10 for 2018. And this is the Championship of Virginia in Alton, Virginia. I'm Greg White. Joining me is Jason Pridmore, who has won a couple FIM World Endurance Championships, couple AMA titles in his day. Cantaloupe on the ground, doing all the duties down there where the racers live and the crews live. It was a beautiful day at VIR, just on the border of southern Virginia and northern North Carolina. Jason, so far we've had some sprinkles in the area, but looks like the weather's going to hold off for us here at the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race coming up.
Yeah, it looks perfect right now. Just looking out the window right now, looks great out here, and this is what these guys need. They wanted a nice dry race, and I know everybody was worried about the weather today, but it looks like we're going to make it through this one, so it'll be good.
So for this event, we have a great grid lined up for you as they qualified earlier on in the weekend. Alex Dumas sitting on pole, Sean Nambarski in second spot, and Corey Ventura rounding out row number 1.
Yep, then row 2, Ashton Yates, who actually had a clutch issue yesterday. Jay Newton, Kevin Almeida there in row 2. Row 3 is Gavin Anthony, Jackson Blackman, Drake Beecham. And then row 4, Dylan Deutschlander, Joseph Blasius, and Mark Edwards. Row 5, looking back, Tyler Whistle, Gage Reese, Teague Hobbs, and then Dallas Daniels, Cameron Jones, Tyler Freeman on row 6.
As we make our way back through this field, you can see that Jamie Ostadillo on row number 8. She still sits 5th in the points after a great Road Atlanta and mechanical issue yesterday kept her out of the points. And on back to row number 9. So 26 competitors will take the field in this one. Benjamin Ferris, our last qualifier, as bikes will start getting fired up now. Obviously, motorcycles out on the racetrack in their grid position, so we've already had the sighting lap. So now, the sighting lap, so now we go to the warm-up lap.
This morning, Greg, I was watching the warm-up this morning, and 3 or 4 of the riders were under Alex's pole lap. Alex went quicker this morning than he did in his pole time, but there was Corey Ventura was there, Ashton Yates was there, Jay Newton was there as far as being under. There was about 4 or 5 of these kids that were 37.6, 37.7 or lower, and they had a little bit of a gap. I'm interested to see Jackson Blackman coming from the 8th starting position on the grid. He had the fastest lap of the race yesterday at a 37.4, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get a little bit better start today and maybe mix it up. I think today this lead pack isn't going to get as broke up and spread up as much as it did yesterday. I think that you're going to see 5 or 6 of the bikes up front right off the bat, probably tied together more. I think in this race it's so important with these little bikes that you try not to get too detached, try not to make too big of a move that creates big gaps, because once you get those gaps created, it's very difficult to make it back up.
So here in MotoAmerica competition, the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class, we look at our speed shot we're going to have for you today and how spring has really gotten a hold of southern Virginia and the northern part of North Carolina. But there's been some rule changes for this Liqui Moly Junior Cup class since Road Atlanta, as we have different machines that have different displacements and different levels of development. And we have the Yamaha YZF R3 against the Kawasaki Ninja 400. The KTM RC390 are also in the mix. There's other bikes that are available to race in this competition, like, say, for instance, the Honda 500. So part of what was understood heading into this season was that there's going to be some rule changes during the course of the year, that they're going to change equipment, RPM, weight, and so on to try to find the parity between these motorcycles. And Jason, you had a chance to talk to Ashton Yates, who sits 2nd in points so far, who has a win and a 2nd place finish. Really struggling here yesterday to try to find optimal setup because they took 2,000 RPM out of that motorcycle.
And gearing is, talking to Aaron, his father, this morning. Gearing's a big thing that they're worried about. They're playing with the idea of it revving out too much down the front straightaway, not having anything gear-wise on the infield. So, yeah, there's a number of little setup issues that they're going through.
Let's head down to Hannah, who has a last-minute report. Hannah?
I spoke with Scott Smart from FIM yesterday about the new rule change for Junior Cup that'll now mirror the rules of FIM. The main changes that they implemented were decreasing the rev limit for Kawasaki and KTM and opening the airbox on the Yamahas. They've done this in the hope of leveling the playing field so as not to showcase the best manufacturer, but the best rider, the best talent level out on the track.
Okay, awesome.
That's what this class is all about, and it's great that we have 3 different manufacturers getting involved. So here we go with race 2. And these guys always put on a great show for us.
All right, hold your breaths because we're getting ready for the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race. And here we go. Down to turn number 1. Great launch by Alex Dumas off the pole.
All 3 of the front row, Greg, got off perfectly as Corey Ventura ducks in behind those 2 KTMs. Got good starts up in the front. So right off the bat, Jay Newton falls there into 4th place, right in behind the 3 people, 3 leaders there.
Sean Umbarski, who had a tip over yesterday, DNF'd out of the race after his handlebar was broken off, I believe you told me, Jason.
Yeah, I talked to Sean a little bit this morning, and he said, Jay, did you happen to see what happened? And just looking at it, it looked innocent enough, honestly. But when he got to his bike, the handlebar had snapped off, and so that was his race done. But he didn't really feel like he'd done anything too awful.
Alex, orange 43 training bike. Themselves out very similar to what we saw yesterday. We saw some of the other Alex Dumas was definitely flat in this one yesterday.
And we can already see a little gap. Yesterday, this Deutschlander who's up in part of the group now. Jackson Blackman is the one who's in front of him, but there's a gap between them already. These bikes have opened up probably just under a second gap to that second group. So Dylan, who was part of this lead group today, is going to try to do everything he can to kind of get back on the back of them. And I'm also looking for Ashton Yates, Greg. So we'll have to keep an eye out. I think Ashton's in that big second group back there behind this front 7. Alex still leads off into turn 1. It looks like Jay Newton's moved himself up.
Number 98 is Jay Newton in the mix. Corey Ventura 64, 75. Well, that's Dylan Deutschlander.
Yeah, and he's back a little further. Like I said, he's leading that second group. So, I say it all the time, but these guys kind of got to organize themselves a little bit to try to help each other get up to this group in front. And if these 7 guys in front kind of play clean for the first few laps, it's very, very difficult for that group behind to catch up. And seeing Ashton back there in 11th, he was probably a little easier on that clutch and that start and didn't probably get the jump that he needed, so he's going to have to be fighting up from the back as well.
Number 48, Sean Umbarski out of Phoenix, Arizona. Second bike in your screen, KTM Orange Brigade, Gilliman Racing. Already some movement around on his KTM as he's trying to find his way around this racetrack. Number 98, we talked about him yesterday, Jay Newton out of Montgomery, Texas on the AGP Sport America Monkey Moto R3. As it looks like he's going to be trying to make a move. 98 up the inside, turn number 10, and will take over second spot. So Jay Newton on the move.
Great move from Jay there, and he's really this weekend for sure shown some great speed. And it's good, at Road Atlanta, the Yamahas weren't close. So what they've done this weekend with the rules has definitely made it closer. It's good to see some new guys up there. But Jay has really shown this weekend that he's ready to go. As the KTM of Sean Umbarski goes back past, he's got a big group of Yamaha R3s breathing down his neck from behind there.
As they fan out into turn number 1. Up some moves being made, trying around the outside. Oof. That's a long way around.
Might be Almeida there trying to go around the outside of Jackson. But this is kind of what happened yesterday. It's if Alex can keep putting his head down, he's in 37s already. 37.7, 37.4 for Jackson. So he's already matched his best time from yesterday. You just don't want to let him get out in front and just be able to run laps and kind of mess with each other too much, because it's just so hard to close that gap back up. So Sean's done a good job of pulling these guys back up onto the back of Alex as they head down towards turn 7.
14, that's the last rider on your screen there. Kevin Almeida out of El Salvador. He actually showed up today with new sponsor on a new team. He's now on the AGV Sport America Monkey Moto squad. So all of a sudden, overnight, Jay Newton, number 98, who's a couple riders in front of him, has a teammate.
Yeah, that's good to see. See guys going to the races together and getting a little bit of help for each other. And Good look here at Jackson Blackman. He's got right up. His race is already a little easier than it was yesterday because he had to come from a little further back and did a great job catching up.
Yep.
And now he's right on the back of these guys early in the race.
Number 76 is Gavin Anthony out of Ohio on the Attack Performance Heron compound. R3 bike down. Number 30, that's Tyler Whistle.
Looks like turn 10, Greg, if I had to guess. It looked like we saw his bike right there in the middle of the racetrack. So there he is. He's off walking. So that's good. He's up and he's okay.
Tyler Whistle, who was 16th in points coming in here, has scored 8 points so far in the season. Is out of this one.
The guy for me right now, I'm watching in 8th place. Ashton Yates has broken away from that next group in 9th. He's doing 37.8, and he's pushing his own win, doing it by himself. So we'll have to see, Greg, if we end up getting 8 riders up. But like I said, Ashton probably just got a bad start, being a little easy on that clutch. You'll see him in the back of our shot there, just coming through. But he's definitely broke away from that group behind him. And it's going to be hard work for him to do it. But if, like I said, anything with these 7 start messing around at all, it just doesn't take much at all to get back on the back of the group.
About a quarter of the way through this race, and third of the way through the race, and this is the point yesterday where we saw Sean Umvarski start to try to make some moves and throw it down the road, and Alex Dumas start to pull the pin. So Dumas on the 23. He's leading the way right now under tremendous pressure from this whole group behind him. And he's handling it with poise as side by side they go. Unvarsky and Newton. Newton's going to make another move.
He made it. He made the move there. Really strong move from Jay at the top of that hill. And but you see what it does, Greg. See the little gap?
Yeah.
That's the little gap that gets really hard when you to close back down. And Jay's extremely good through that last corner as well. He pulls the gap even on Unvarsky, who went 37.3, our fastest lap of the race, the last lap.
Look at the speed of that KTM. In the draft, gets right around. Oh,
wow.
That was really close as R3's battle for.
Between Gavin Anthony there and Jay Newton got really close. And you could see, guys, Almeida doing everything he can to just kind of keep on the back of these guys all the while. Jackson Blackman just kind of sitting there. Corey Ventura gets pushed a little bit wide that time into turn 1. Jackson's just kind of been really patient, just sitting there watching what's going on in front of him. But these guys have closed back up on Alex again. 37.8, 38.0 for Sean, but 37.6 for Kevin, 37.6 for Ashton Yates, who's actually drew up. He was a little bit quicker than the actual leaders that last lap.
And if they keep battling with themselves, especially if someone's going to throw a shot at Dumas, then they're going to slow themselves down a little bit. So in second place is Gavin Anthony. Or third place, sorry, is Gavin Anthony. And right behind him now is Jay Newton. We're getting to that part of the racetrack where we know Jay Newton likes to throw a shot. Heading up towards turn number 10. Newton's already made a couple of aggressive passes there. It's a couple corners away. Dumas up to the top of the hill. Get on the brakes. Unvarsky looking very composed.
Yep, Sean that time moved over to the right just a little bit going up to turn 10 to try to block any possible advances from anybody behind him going down into 10. Alex does something a little bit different than the rest of them all up through the 8-9 area, Greg. He does a downshift up there and controls the speed through the left and then does a quick little upshift on the way out of that right. So it's a section that he's actually gained a little bit of confidence in this weekend. And you see Jackson now going by Almeida with Ventura right behind him as well. Oh, neither one of them were able to make that pass. There's Ashton. Ashton has a big gap. And then right behind him is going to be Dylan Deutschlander and Mark Edwards.
Deutschlander on the 75, Edwards on the 26. That is 10th spot on the racetrack. So very surprised to see Deutschlander in this position. Kind of shows you, Jason, how important it is to get a good start here in the Liqui Moly Junior Cup.
It really does show not just a start, but it shows, Greg, what that first lap really is. That first lap is so key. And if you get yourself kind of hung out to dry in anywhere on these little bikes, you don't have the horsepower to just pull yourself right back up. So it can take some time. And you can look right now, Edwards is all over the back of Deutschlander as they go down towards turn 7. He's going to try to make a move on him, probably going up the hill. And he gets through. So these two guys are battling over 9th place right now.
Yeah, definitely not the Dylan Deutschlander that we saw yesterday. No question about it.
Could have a problem. You never know.
Yeah.
You never really know. But you kind of get into that spot where when you kind of get where there's nobody in front of you and sometimes the motivation can be difficult, but hopefully he can get a little bit motivated and him and Mark can go forward. And, yeah, the lap times just aren't really there for those guys right now compared to, like, even where Dylan was yesterday.
That group up front still battling Dumas and Varsky, Gavin Anthony. Last time by the stripe, Umbarski was the fastest rider, setting the fastest lap of the race at a 37.1. And now it's Gavin Anthony at 36.9, so we're in the 36s.
That is so fast on these little bikes. And he's underneath Umbarski, and he's going to make that pass, Greg. He's going to make it stick. They're battling each other right now.
That was awesome.
Really good move.
Maybe he's thinking, if I could just get ahead of him in this section, as Umbarski pushing the front end of that motorcycle all over the place. Lost a little bit of time. Looked like he lost that front there for a second.
He just lost the front a little bit, but right now he's trying his best to chase after Alex. Is Gavin. 36.9. That's really fast. And these 4 guys now at the front are trying to make a little bit of a break. The first 2 guys are definitely making a little bit of a break. In fact, Alex went 37.2 that lap. That was his personal best. So Gavin's decided he wants to try to do something here, and they're just starting to edge away from Umbarski and Jay Newton, Ventura, Blackman, and Almeida.
23 is Dumas, 76 Anthony. Then you have 48 Umbarski, 98 Jay Newton, 18 is Jackson Blackman. Corey Ventura and Almeida in the mix as well. Ready to pick up the pieces if anything goes wrong. Dumas, under, like I said, tremendous pressure, has really answered the questions if anyone had it. You know, he can lead, obviously. He can lead plenty of races, and then he starts to check out, and things get a little bit easier. But under this kind of pressure, how's it going to be for the entire race?
Let's see how Gavin does here in Alex's draft as they come down this big front straightaway. You can see he can definitely draft him, and I think that we're going to have a change for the lead by the time they go down into turn 1. Alex is going to have to look at the back of somebody possibly as they head down, and yep, Gavin goes underneath. Great move. Gavin's 36.9 again, Greg. So 2 36.9s in a row. Gavin Anthony, that's a tremendous lap time. You see Alex pulls up alongside.
A little bit wide. Anthony trying to hold that R3, tighter line. He'll still lead the way. It looked like for a moment that the KTM was going to sweep around the outside. Gavin Anthony on that Attack Performance Heron Compound Racing motorcycle. Getting it done at the moment. Now Dumas has got to go to school and find out where Anthony's strong. All the while, they're starting to creep away. It looks like Jamie Astudillo. So Jamie Astudillo out of this one.
Alex fights back going up into turn 7. So these 2 guys, they start doing this. The guys behind them are going to love seeing this. But the 2 leaders last time, 37 flat, 36.9. So they're both capable of doing the times. And now Alex knows he's got a fight on his hands. Gavin Anthony's really upped his pace, upped his game today. As you can see, replay of Jamie going down in turn 1.
And she knew just a little bit too much pressure on that front brake, a little bit of a bump, and away it goes.
She was doing a lot better today too, Greg. Minute 39.9 she had done today.
Yeah.
And she was just out of the points battling with a big group of people for points. But these 2 guys have definitely separated themselves, Greg. Now, now Alex knows he's got somebody he's going to fight with. It'll be interesting to see if the pace just drops for both of these guys.
Last time by 37 flat for Dumas, 36.9 for Gavin Anthony. They come across the line because of their battling, 37.4s apiece.
And they still pulled away a little bit from the group behind them. The group behind are still 37.9s and things, but the guy that I'm watching, that we said I was watching, was Ashton Yates, another 37.5. So he's going to be, it looks like, did I see somebody running over there, Greg? I'm not sure, but might be from Jamie, still turn 1 there. I saw some corner workers, but be interested to see Ashton still 5 seconds behind those guys. It's going to be a big ask, but he's definitely doing the lap times. Look at that group from 14th back to 20th on our screen have all done their personal best on that lap. Everybody's pushing.
Everybody's pushing hard. I talked to Dunlop before this race, and I said, hey, listen, if we get a break in the clouds and some heat gets in this track, is that better than what we had yesterday with cloud cover? And they said, yeah, actually, in terms of performance for these Dunlop Q3 Plus tires that they race on, this is the best possible scenario right now. You can see the shadows on the racetrack, which means that we have good sun out, getting some baking heat in these tires, and that's part of why you're seeing such great lap times.
Here comes the battle. Jackson Blackman's going to try to was thinking about going up the inside. There's Kevin Almeida right there trying to go around the outside of Jackson as they come down from turn 10 to 11. He makes a big pass around the outside. That's That's a big pass. And something has happened here with the 2 leaders because Alex has now just opened up a little bit of a gap over Gavin. So I'm not sure if Gavin made a mistake at the top of that hill, but he's proven that he's got pace. Oh, like, look at the second split, Greg.
Yeah.
Alex went 4/10 quicker in the second split than did Gavin. So looks like he's trying right now to just kind of pull that pin off in 22.8 to 23.4 in the last split. So maybe Gavin's got a problem because Alex definitely got through that last couple segments just a little bit better. And now Gavin's just got to be careful not to fall too far back in the clutches of this big battle going on right now for third.
Umbarski back up to third in this one. You can see riders on that straightaway as they're trying to find that draft. Because of the horsepower of these machines, it's not like you can just get in a draft and blast past someone. You've got to time it, in a perfect way, especially R3 to R3 to R3. It's part of what you're seeing is them trying to find the timing. Look how close. Woof. That was almost disaster.
Yep. And now looks like, you got Jane Newton and Corey Ventura and Jackson Blackman. They're all just all over the back of Umbarski, and they've been swapping back and forth from position to position. But you can see Gavin's lost again a little bit of time. Alex goes 44.6. He was almost a full second quicker in the first segment, first sector of the track than Gavin there. Umbarski's jumping curbs.
Yeah, and you can hear actually, the skidding of the tires is that riders try to get those bikes in gear and not matching RPM, and the rear wheel just kind of locks up for a moment.
We can hear Gavin backing it in a little bit up at the top of turn 10. See him do that a little bit down into turn 1 as well.
Oh, feet off the pegs for the 98 Jay Newton. Third rider in the screen. He's going to try to find a draft. He's trying to go around the outside. This is the battle for third. So 18 on the inside. Last time by, Alex Dumas set the fastest lap of the race at 36.4. That's insane.
That is so fast.
Wow.
That's really fast on these little bikes.
So they start to shuffle again. Umbarski goes to the point using the horsepower of that KTM RC390 and maximizing the draft. And the shuffle has Kevin Almeida out of El Salvador in the 4th position. 98 Jay Newton.
There's the move right there. Almeida getting aggressive in this little infield section. He probably feels like if he can get by, maybe Sean, if he can get by Sean through there and open up this little bit of a gap, he might be able to open up enough to where if they go up through the top part of this track to up into 7, 8, 9, 10, he can open up a big enough gap to get away from that group.
Yeah, and very sloppy by through that S section. But he's able to get through it, but just couldn't get that motorcycle back to the apex of the corner.
Yeah, he's trying and he's jumping just some of the curbs, and he's right now on the back again of Almeida, which is great that he's made up that little bit of a gap. Let's see if he tries to do anything through turn 10. Jay Newton looked like he was lining him up to do something, though. As they go into turn 10, Jay Newton again up the inside of Umbarski.
That is his spot. I mean, if you give him 3 inches, he's going to just put it in there. Umbarski had to stand it up for a second. Number 14, Almeida out of El Salvador, with his new team, AGV Sport America, Monkey Moto. Trying to get his new team owner a great result at VIR as we are going to be working 1 lap to go. Alex Dumas has already come by the stripe, a 36.7, so still very fast, but he's rolled out of it a little bit.
Yeah, it's still very fast times, and now these Yamaha boys, they're going to have to sort this final lap up on their own. Jay Newton underneath Almeida as they go into turn 1.
That was very close.
Jay Newton, they get really close. They're still side by side as they head off into turn 3 here. Now they're going to be coming out of here, braking for turn 4, and Varski's still on the back of them. He's in a good spot. Newton's out over the curbs. So if Sean can get through this next little rights pretty well, he might be able to draft up on these guys going into 7, but they're just a little better than him through that right-hander. They opened up a big gap. So now the Yamahas of Almeida and Newton have opened up the tiniest gap. Newton's going to try to shoot down the inside as they head into turn 7 and up the hill, and he's made the pass stick.
Wow, that was nice and tight as well.
And Almeida gets a little out of shape coming out of there, and that's allowed Jay to just pull away from him a little bit.
Working on his 3rd race win in 4 races. Dumas, every time he's actually made a race start, he's won so far this season. He is out front as we continue to look at this battle for the final position on the podium as Gavin Anthony is comfortably in second spot out in front of this lead. It's the 98 Jay Newton coming down the bottom of the hill. Will he have enough to get himself to the line? Here comes Alex Dumas, and he'll take victory. What a race for the Canadian. And here we go.
Tight at the line.
To the line.
Who
Oh!
are they going to give that to? They got Almeida on our screen right now. We'll wait a second. Looked like he just drafted Jay Newton as they came down that straightaway. What a result. What a finish.
Yeah, the margin of victory saying .037 for Newton over Almeida. I'm sure we'll take a look at that photo finish, and MotoAmerica will double check to make sure that is indeed the case. No requirement on where your transponder is located, but
Yeah, that was close. I mean, they kind of get out of our view a little bit from where we're actually sitting, so we can't watch them actually go across the line. But it did look like Almeida had just done enough to draft past him on the finish there.
well, for Alex Dumas, starting from pole position, he led every lap of this race. He didn't lead the entire race,
No.
but he led every lap of the race.
Gavin Anthony jumped into the 36s and showed that he could jump into the 36s, and then Alex just kind of responded to that. So, he had the race led for most of the time. And let's see here, we got Gage Reese pushing his bike down the front straightaway. So I can just see him in view from me right now, and he's just kind of, I'm not sure what's gone on there, but he's going to try to just get that thing across the line. There's a good look at Gavin. Second place today for Gavin. Great job, great ride. He's showing right now. This is kind of what we did last year, Greg. You know, when we had Benjamin Smith doing so well, and Corey Ventura stepped right up to that. This is the neat thing about this class for me, is that there's always these new guys, new kids that jump up and start challenging. And this has been a good weekend for Gavin.
So a good signing by the AGV Sport America Monkey Moto team to get Kevin Almeida out of El Salvador on that team. And all of a sudden, David Roy, and there he goes. He's off the bike, and now he's actually giving it a go. Trying to get it started on that ridiculous racing, number 46.
Good for Gage, just trying to finish that race. That's good for him there.
Yeah.
It's a shame to see his bike break on the last lap, and he's got a great, hard-working crew of guys down
Or
there.
could have run out of gas or something.
Could have run out of gas, something like that.
And he's doing this for no points, as we know that we have all the finishers in there. So
yeah,
that shows. There you go.
Yeah, you finish that. It's a hard thing, that is. I'm sure you'll see a bunch of his crew running down to help him get that thing back anyways.
Yeah, if you're a young racer checking out the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class, that's what you're looking at for Heart in Racing. Alex Dumas, 5.4 seconds over Gavin Anthony and Kevin Almeida. Jay Newton, Sean Umbarski, Jackson Blackman in 6th spot. Little bang of the camera there. Corey Ventura in 7th. Ashton Yates will be your 8th place finisher. Mark Edwards in 9th. Dylan Deutschlander will finish off in 10th spot. So Parc Fermé being filled with our podium finishers. Boy, what kind of season is Alex Dumas going to have at this point? Like I mentioned, Alex Dumas has only started 3 of the 4 races, and each time he started, he's won. Pulling away in the championship, that should give him another bunch of points in hand, as Ashton Yates coming into this thing was 5 points adrift in the championship battle, but with 8th place finish. Here's a look at the finish for third spot.
This is pretty close, Greg, isn't it? Oh, man, just barely. You can see it on our cameras here.
Yeah.
It looks like Almeida just got Jay at the line. And Jay's been riding so good this year. And he's going to get that podium. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get a win as well.
Mm-hmm. So Jay's new teammate, as of last night, the press release came out last night, displaces him. But Kevin Almeida doing a great job. And that will give, Jay Newton, too, is in this battle for this championship. So 4th place for him, as he was 4th coming into this, Sean Umbarski. So it's early days here. 2nd round for the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class. And the 4th race is in the books. The next time we get to see these riders on track will be in a few weeks' time, around 4 weeks, at Road America in Wisconsin. And that's a racetrack that we're going to be very interested to see how these motorcycles match up, Jason, because lot of straightaways there for these Liqui Moly Junior Cup bikes. a lot of drafting and a lot of passing will be going on there.
It's amazing to me how clean the racing is between these guys, too. I mean, there's big groups of people that run together and this and that, and they make big passes and big challenges, but the actual racing is really clean amongst all these kids, so it's fun to watch.
All right, let's go down to Victory Lane where Hannah's standing by. Hannah?
I'm here with Kevin Almeida, our third place finisher. First podium for you in your career here in MotoAmerica. Tell us about your race.
Well, it was a difficult race. It was a lot of good riders. It was a big battle with the others, but I'm very happy to pass the other rider in the final section of the track. But well, I only want to say thanks to God for everything, to my dad, my sponsor, AGV Motorsport, and I want to thank Moto Monkey, Grapes Sport, for all the help. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you, Kevin.
Love seeing new guys' faces and getting them on the screen and getting them in front of the camera, and great job for him to put it on the podium today. It's a day you'll never forget when you get your first national podium, so that's great for him.
If you say so. 0.03 .037 of a second was Almeida's third place finish over Jay Newton, but let's get back down to Hannah, who has more from Victory Circle.
Second podium for Gavin Anthony today, second place finish for you. You started to lose Dumas a little bit, but you were able to hold on to second place. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, we got off to a really good start, made some passes up in the early race, and we just made it work. I was on Dumas, but I downshifted the extra gear going into 7 and lost it, but yeah, we're still happy with second place, double podium this weekend. So I can't give it up enough to the team and all my sponsors, VO2, Arai, everyone. Just thanks for the help.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Yeah, we thought for a while there that he was just going to give Alex Dumas fits for the rest of the race, but 5.4 seconds adrift. He'll take that second place and move on and go back and talk to the team about his race. And as we continue to have the celebration just around the corner.
I saw Josh Herron with him in the paddock yesterday and even in the pit, and it's great to see somebody like Josh still so involved and helping out with the Herron compound, obviously with Attack Performance too. So it's great for Gavin to have those guys behind him.
All right, so let's go back down to Hannah, who has a rider who's gone 3 for 3 on his starts.
I'm with our race winner, Alex Dumas. Alex, you're on a streak right now. You're 3 for 3 with wins this season. Tell us how you're doing it. Where's your confidence coming from to keep pulling off the win?
I had a good race yesterday. I got good times this morning in the warm-up. That made me confident a lot, and I'm just happy with my win today. I want to thank everybody who helps me this year, and hope to win again at MotoAmerica.
Thank you, Alex. Congrats.
All right, so Alex Dumas doing the business. Like I mentioned, 4 races so far this season, but he had a mechanical before our second race at Road Atlanta and wasn't even able to make the race. So 3 races he started, 3 race wins, a maximum 75 points for him so far this season. And a lot of racers are going to be looking at Alex Dumas and the KTM to try to put them behind him, especially when they go to the big, long dyno Road America Championship point standings. Ashton Yates now in second place, 22 adrift. Jay Newton in third, 27 points behind. Sean Obarski's in fourth. Gavin Anthony, 5th spot. And Kevin Almeida working his way up into 7th. Dylan Deutschlander and Jackson Blackman. These are all names that are going to see towards the front. Jamie Astudillo slips down with her get off in turn number 1, down to 10th spot. And on back through the field as we wrap up the MotoAmerica Liqui Moly Junior Cup Championship race action here from Virginia International Raceway. We still have more great race action coming at you here on beIN Sports Connect and, of course, on the network after the Classico. We're going to have it going on. That'll be the Super Sport class and Motul Superbike. We have our typical 2.5-hour block of programming for you coming at you from VIR in Alton, Virginia. Well, we'll let Alex Dumas start celebrating his win with Gavin Anthony and Kevin Almeida. Thanks for joining us here on beIN Connect and Liqui Moly Junior Cup class. We will see you later on today here and on the network.